Hello Army. The world focused on the Rolling Stone interview but missed one thing: Jungkook's glance at Taehyung. Behind that black suit, there was a sincerity that broke down the mask of a global star. What really happened between Jungkook and Taehyung? Before we begin, make sure you're ready to love this moment. Welcome to Taekook Files. Seoul, April 2026. In a spacious room with warm lighting, 7 young men who have conquered the world sit together. Rolling Stone called it a conversation in Seoul. But behind the discussion about the Super Bowl, the Arirang vocal battles, and Jungkook's explicit lyrics, there is another story, one only visible to those who pay attention to the heartbeat behind that black suit. Have you ever felt that words are just decoration? That sometimes the truth hides between restrained laughter and stolen glances? Today we won't just talk about that interview. We'll talk about them, Taehyung and Jungkook. Taehyung sits with the elegance of a king, his gaze sharp yet calm. On the other side, Jungkook, the golden magne who has now grown even more mature, carries a bolder aura. As the interview begins, everything feels professional. But every time Jungkook talks about the bold lyrics of his latest songs, the camera catches something interesting. There's a faint smile on Taehyung's lips. A smile that seems to say, "I know the struggle behind those lyrics." Not just as a colleague but as someone who understands. Jungkook, softly, "I want to show a more honest side. A side people may have never seen before." Taehyung whispering, "You did well, JK." Just one sentence. But in a room filled with staff and bright lights, it feels like a hug in the middle of a storm. When the topic shifts to the Arirang battles, the atmosphere becomes lighter. They reminisce about their difficult trainee days. But for Taehyung and Jungkook, Arirang is not just about traditional music or vocal competition. It's about long nights in the studio where they supported each other. During this interview, as Jungkook explains his vocal techniques, his eyes never truly leave Taehyung. As if he's reporting his success to the person whose opinion matters most to him. Taehyung, usually very expressive, is quieter this time. He listens. But notice how his fingers occasionally tap his knee, following the rhythm of Jungkook's voice. It's body language in sync, a harmony created without a single musical score. The world is buzzing over Jungkook's increasingly mature lyrics. Many ask, what changed him? This Rolling Stone interview tries to explore that. Jungkook answers calmly, speaking about growth and freedom of expression. But there's one moment the public missed. When Jungkook talks about honesty and love, he pauses briefly. He glances at Taehyung, and for a split second the global star's mask fades. What remains are just two people who understand each other's unspoken truths. For them, love isn't something shouted on the Super Bowl stage. Love is the way Taehyung fixes Jungkook's collar before the cameras start rolling. Love is the way Jungkook always makes sure Taehyung feels comfortable in a crowd. The interview ends. The studio lights dim. Staff begin packing up the cables. But in the shadows of that room, Taehyung and Jungkook linger for a moment. They don't need the world's validation. They don't need sensational headlines. Because in Seoul, amid the noise of the global music industry, they've found a home in each other. A conversation in Seoul may just be an article title for us, but for them, it's another page in a diary they write together in silence. There's a moment in the interview when the interviewer asks about the future. Jungkook pauses, as if searching for the right words on the ceiling. At that moment, the camera catches Taehyung's hand subtly shifting on the chair, almost touching Jungkook's arm. Not a physical touch, but a presence. A signal without wires, understood only on the same frequency. Jungkook instantly smiles, his nervousness gone, and answers with renewed confidence. Jungkook, softly, "My future? I just want to keep being beside the people who make me feel like myself." Taehyung, smiling slightly, looking straight at him. "That's a good answer, Jungkook." The world may see it as a standard idol response. But for those who understand the language of the heart, the people Jungkook refers to had a very specific face in mind at that moment. And that face was sitting right next to him, wearing a matching black leather jacket. Notice how they laugh. When Taehyung makes a joke about vocal training, Jungkook is the first to laugh, even before Taehyung finishes speaking. This isn't just respect for a senior. It's mirroring. Psychologically, we tend to mirror the movements of those we love or trust the most. In this 22-minute Rolling Stone interview, we see perfect symmetry. When Taehyung crosses his legs, Jungkook follows seconds later. They are like two instruments tuned to the same key. This 2026 Rolling Stone interview will be remembered as the return of kings. The article will be read millions of times. The photos will hang on walls around the world. But for Taehyung and Jungkook, it was just another ordinary day in their long journey. At the end of the session, when the microphones are removed and the lights go out, there is a promise that doesn't need to be spoken. A promise that no matter how explicit the lyrics become, or how grand the Super Bowl stage they stand on, the essence of Taekook remains the same. Two souls finding silence in a very noisy world. Because in the end, the strongest love isn't the one displayed under the spotlight, but the one that lives on when all the cameras are turned off. Seoul was the witness, and we are just lucky observers who caught a glimpse of that quiet magic. If we look more closely at the final minutes of the interview, there is an unusual sense of calm. While the other members are busy discussing stage technicalities, Taehyung is briefly caught on camera looking at his own hands, before finally glancing toward Jungkook with a gaze that is difficult to interpret. It is the gaze of a protector, and at the same time an admirer. As if in silence, he is celebrating Jungkook's growth from a shy teenager into a man who can now shake the world with his bold lyrics. On the other hand, Jungkook shows remarkable maturity. He no longer seeks validation from the world, but rather from the presence of the people around him. Every time he finishes a heavy sentence about the pressures of the industry, he takes a deep breath and almost unconsciously turns toward Taehyung, seeking a point of gravity that keeps him grounded. For them, the Rolling Stone room is no longer just a workplace, but a safe space where they can be themselves despite being under the watch of millions. We often wonder what they really talk about during the ride home in a dark car after such a packed schedule. Perhaps they don't talk about viewer counts or Billboard rankings. Maybe they simply sit back, sharing one earphone, listening to the raw melodies of unreleased songs. In those private moments, the identities of V and Jungkook fade away, returning to Taehyung and Jungkook, two people who once shared dreams in a small dorm years ago. The beauty of their relationship lies in what they do not openly show. In an industry that demands everything to become content, they manage to keep those small sparks just for themselves. The secret smiles in this Rolling Stone interview are proof that even as the world changes and their popularity skyrockets beyond imagination, the connection they built in Seoul remains unshaken by time or distance. In closing, let us realize that Taekook is not merely a label given by fans, but a symbol of loyalty. Amid the dazzling lights of Seoul in 2026, they remind us that the greatest success is not the awards displayed in glass cabinets, but having someone who still holds your hand when the world becomes overwhelmingly loud. This interview may pass, but the resonance of their presence will continue to echo in all of our hearts, forever. Thank you for looking closer. Because sometimes the most beautiful stories are not the ones spoken, but the ones felt. And please continue to support this channel. May God repay all your kindness. This video reflects personal opinions and interpretations and is created for entertainment purposes only, not as confirmed facts.